My wife had a collection of handwritten typewriters, and she saw them up, like a month. She picked them up for $10, and then she signed for $75. She's collecting.
The golden typewriter, they used to be $100 brand new. I saw them for 400 used. It used to be such a waste. You would have to go buy these letters, these tapes all the time.
Excuse me, before digital, that's everything. We even dial on the phone. We didn't have to pay for it.
And the carbon papers. My mother has to get operated from carbon.
Okay. Let's begin. Let's begin with Daf Pei Dalet. We don't have anyone on yet.
84A.
84A. We're up to Yom Echad. You have your pad?
Yeah.
We're learning about Rabbi Yechon. Rabbi Yechon would sit outside the mikvah.
Yeah, he wants because in my face.
Okay.
Listen, that wasn't just a pretty face.
I thought it was a little bit guided, kind of guided.
Yeah.
We're not going to see you.
One day, Rabbi Yochanan was soaking, swimming, bathing in the Jordan River. Rish Lakish sees him and jumps into the river after him. It's a famous story. Amalei, he says to him, such strength you should put into Torah. Amalei, such beauty should be given to women. He's telling Rabbi Yochanan. Amalei, he said, by the way, he didn't have a beard, Rabbi Yochanan, the Gemara says before, so maybe he actually thought it was a woman. I don't know. Anyway, he says, is a man's face different than a woman's face without the beard structurally?
Well, Adam's apple is usually a giveaway.
Adam's apple is bigger by a woman or by a man?
They have a wider neck.
A woman has a wider neck?
No, a man.
A man has a wider neck.
And the jaws.
The jaw is different?
Women in general. Well, you look at some women, I think they're men. So,
no, but
as a general, women are more kind of a little bit refined in facial.
Thinner?
They look fragile.
Okay, whatever the case is.
As a general rule. Nowadays, you want to know.
You can't get into
So Amalei says, if you'll return, I guess that means return to studying Torah. I'll give you my sister that's even more pretty than I am. He accepted on himself to learn Torah. He tried to go back to get his clothing, or his lasuyimani, to get his clothing, or his kela, maybe that means his weapons. Wasn't able to. He went, he returned, Akarya, he read the Torah, Vasnaya, he read Mishnayos. Vashabi Gabarabi became another gadol, became a great person. Okay, Yom Echad, one day, of a mafalgi bei midrash, so they're arguing in the base medrash. Certain types of knives, swords and knives and daggers and spears and sickles and different types of things. When do they become tamei? Something only becomes tamei after it's a finished product. At what point does a knife become a finished product? So you have to put a handle on it, probably, and sharpen it, right? And then it's done. So he says, when it's a finished product. When is it a finished product? Rabbi Yochanan from the kivshin. He says after you put it into the furnace. And Rish Lakish after you shine it in the water. Because after the furnace, they would put it in the water, it probably look black, and then they would polish it. Amalei, so Rabbi Yochanan says, Yusa Yada. A robber knows robbers' weapons. You know, he knows well about robbers because Rish Lakish was a robber. By the way, Rabbeinu Tam disagrees with this shot that I'm saying from Rashi that he was. That's what people to dramatize it. They say it was a gladiator. Was Rish Lakish Spartacus?
Yeah, exactly.
He was.
So
That's not the case.
I don't know. It doesn't say it.
You
It
just
doesn't.
spoiled the movie.
In the commentary, it says that Rish Lakish misunderstood his words. It's a bit like.
One second. We didn't get to that yet. 1 second. So he says, you see, Rabbi Yochanan is looking at a knife as something that's a utensil. Once it's finished product, once it's hardened, and once it's made, then it's good. And Rish Lakish held that a finished product was when it's shiny, because maybe when it's shiny it can intimidate. So that could be the shot. So he says a robber knows his trade because Rish Lakish was a robber before. Now, Rabbeinu Tam says that he wasn't an Amaretz. He was a Talmud Chacham that left yeshiva, became a robber, and went back. It was like I don't know who.
On the Quran, the personalities, like a while ago, it explained that. That he was a Torah scholar, and then.
That's Rabbeinu Tam's opinion. Rashi doesn't say it like that.
And does Rabbeinu Tam say that because of the word tshuva that he returned, shechazar?
Yeah, return. He uses the word return. Yeah, the word return means you're going back to what?
Yeah.
Now we don't say that return means going back. When we use the word return today, we Bal tshuva means a return. We don't mean that. It means returning to his roots. It doesn't mean that return he used to be from. Yeah. Anyway.
They didn't have the benefit of Chassidus then.
Yeah. Okay. They did actually, but just in a different way. So Amalei, he says, "My honestly," Rish Lakish says to Rabbi Yochanan after he insulted him like that. He says, "Robert knows his trade." He says, "What did you really give me? What benefit did you give me?" Hastam Rabbi Karli, Hacha Rabbi Karli. They called me a master over there. Now they call me a master. I used to be a head of a robber. Now Rabbeinu Tam says, "I used to be a Rebbe before."
That's how they have it in the article.
I used to be a Rebbe before. Not only that, not that I was a Rebbe of robbers. Rabbeinu Tam doesn't accept that robbers have Rebbes. He says that it means he was a rabbi before because he knew Torah before. But anyway, whatever the case is, Amalei. So Rabbi Yochanan responds, "I benefited you that I brought you under the wings of the Shechina." Rabbi Yochanan felt bad that Rish Lakish said that, "What did you give me? I was a master before." So Chalash Rish Lakish, because Rabbi Yochanan felt bad, Rish Lakish falls ill. We had this before with Rav Kana, where Rav Kana also like Rabbi Yochanan thought Rav Kana was laughing at him, and then Rabbi Yochanan felt bad. Rav Kana died. Remember at the end of Bava Kama. So Asay Achte Kabachi. Rabbi Yochanan's sister comes and cries, "Amalei, say b'shvil b'nei. Say b'shvil b'nei. How could you do this? What about my children? So daven for my husband." Amalei says, "Forget about the orphans. I'll make them live." It's Hashem is saying. I say b'shvil al manusi. What about me? I'm a widow. I'm gonna be a widow. You depend on me. The widows will depend on me, as Hashem. It's a pasuk in Yirmiyah. Okay. Nach nafshe der Reb Shimon ben Lakish. Reb Shimon ben Lakish passed away. Why doesn't he go revive him? That's the question. But Rav Kana revived him. Remember? Having come a star, Rabbi Yechon was very saddened about this. Amru Rabbanan said, "Man, who's going to appease Rabbi Yochanan for what just happened, that his Chabrusa died? Sort of because of him, but Neitzel Rabbi Elazar ben Pedas Mechadin Shmaite. Let's send Rabbi Elazar ben Pedas. He's very sharp, and he'll be able to console him." Also, Yosef Kamei sat in front of him. Rabbi Yochanan, everything that Rabbi Yochanan taught Amalei. So Rabbi Elazar says, "Tani the Messiah. I happen to know a brisa that supports your chiddush." Amalei, at Kebar Lakishi, you think you're anything similar to Bar Lakish, Rish Lakish? He would ask me 24 questions. I would give him 24 answers. Then the sugya, the matter, the topic under discussion was very clarified. But what you're doing, all you're doing is saying that I have a support for you. Atula Yadana, the shopper coming. You think I don't know that I'm right? Okay. So he was walking and tearing his clothing and crying. Amar Hechad Bar Lakisha, where are you, Bar Lakisha? Hechad Bar Lakisha, where are you, Bar Lakisha? Abikatzavach, he was screaming at the Shaftaite until he lost his mind. The rabbis asked for mercy on him, and he passed away. This is a proof that you're allowed to daven for someone who passed away. It's not considered. Yeah, it's not considered like you're assisting. It's not your death. Not a, what's not? What was that doctor? Not a doctor working. Yeah. Okay. Now there's several commentaries in this Gemara. I mean, the big question is that how was Rabbi Yochanan allowed to say to Rish Lakish that, right? How was he allowed to remind him of the things that he used to do? I'm not telling you can hear. Okay. How was he allowed to remind him of that he used to be a robber? So there's different interpretations. One interpretation is that even though you're not allowed to remind someone of the bad that he did, but a teacher is allowed to remind the student. So Rabbi Yochanan, Rish Lakish says, "What do you mean?" At least according to Rabbi Tam, I used to be a teacher before you. Then the question is, why does he respond? I brought you under the shchina. What is that? What is that back and forth? I guess because he went to be a robber and Rabbi Yochanan brought him back. Maybe that's the pshat. Another interpretation is that Rish Lakish was very sharp and he would he was more gvura. He would like chase people away, or that they should die, or whatever. And Rabbi Yochanan brought everyone back, but made everyone do tshuva. So he taught them a new approach. That was the. But the question on that is like, what does that? How does that help? Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it was like this same situation and just a different opinion, but it was like that Rish Lakish like answered him and said, "Oh, like I have the merits of like both words." But I'm not sure if it was like this discussion or another.
Yeah. So there's another chat that Hill's mentioning that if you do tshuva meyava, you do tshuva out of love, then the zedainis naslik kazachis, the sins that were done on purpose turn into merits. So in such a case, you're actually allowed to remind a person of his sins because those sins are now merits. So he was telling him that you have these sins that were turned over. So Rish Lakish responds, I don't actually know which one I have more merits from, the sins that became merits or my direct merits. So on that, Rabbi Yochanan feels bad because he only has direct merits. Anyway, nothing really answers the real question. I mean, all of this is, trying to soften the question. Okay. Now we go back to the discussion with Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon. Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon is by far the most colorful of all the Tanaim and Amirayim. By far. I mean, Elisha ben Avuya was, went off, but from this. Anyway, let's take a look. He Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon is Rishon Chaysan. He's underneath Rabbi Akiva, or under Rabbi Akiva is Rashbi, under the Rashbi is Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon. Now, Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon had someone killed because the fellow called him famous Ben Yayin. So he said he was very concerned about that. So they did the surgery on him to see if his skin rots. Anyway, they said, don't worry. Nevertheless, he wasn't satisfied about this, that the people that he put to death, maybe some of them were innocent. So Kabbalah Yisuri, he accepted on himself suffering. But in the evening, they would fold under his bed 60 sheets and to help his ailments. Litzafran in the morning, they would take out from him. They would take out 60 buckets of blood and pus from all his the doctors, the ones that they check the viruses and all of that, the blood that put it under microscopes. What is it called? Pathologist. Lamachar Abdile Debisu, the next day, his wife would make Shitin Mini Lafta, 60 types of dishes that were made out of dates, Vachalo Bari, that would strengthen him and he became healthy. His wife didn't let him go to the base measures because they didn't want the rabbis to bother him. Maybe because he was weak, maybe because they didn't agree with his lifestyle. He became a detective. But in the evening, Amalu, he says to the suffering, Achi Berei, my brothers, my friends, Bayo, come back, come make me suffer. It's suffering in the morning. Amalu, he would say to the suffering, Zilum, get away from me because I have to go learn Torah. I guess he would learn at home. One day, Shammah the Bisur, his wife hears what he's saying. She says to him, you're the one that's bringing it all on yourself. You're destroying my father's money. Because they had to buy food for him, special food, 60 types of dishes, and also all these sheets and clothing. And anyway, so
I like where priorities are.
yeah, priorities.
What was
Imran,
the Avera that
he had people killed.
Oh, he killed
And he was worried that maybe some of them were innocent. Imrid, she rebels against her husband, and Nazala Beis Nasha, she runs back to her father's house. Saliko Vasa Hanachshitin Sipunai. What happened was 60 sailors, Ailu Leishitin Abdi, they came up and they sent him 60 servants. While they're holding 60 purses, and they made 60 types of dishes, and he ate from it. And what happened was these sailors were in the sea, and this big tidal wave came, and they said, "Save us in the merit of Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon," and the tidal wave stopped. So they felt that they were indebted to Rabbi Elazar Bar Shimon. That's how Rashi explains it. So they sent him all these gifts. Yom Echad, one day, Amrle Labrate, this wife tells to her daughter, Zilu Baki Bavuch, go and check out and examine what's going on with your father. My coveted, what's going on now? Asya Amrle, she comes and he tells her, Zili Amrle, go tell your mother, Shalanu Gadol Mishalehem, that we have more money than your parents have, than what they have. Karyanaf Shei, so he says about himself, was like merchant ships from a distance. They bring their bread, and he's referring to Torah. That when you study Torah, somehow the money shows up from the sailors. Yeah, it's in Eishes Chayil. I thought you were saying it's because of his Eishes Chayil, because that would be a tough statement there. She ran away. I don't know. Achal v'shasi, he ate and he drank. Ubari got healthy. Nafig l'bei medrasha, he went out to the base medrash. What happened was they bring to him 60 types of 60 shades of blood that he should check, he should look at to see if it's tar or tameh. To see if a woman is tar to her husband, they have to see if there's 5 shades of red that are tameh. So,
do you think that maybe he felt like his tshuva was accepted once he received like all these gifts?
Oh, I don't know.
Because it sounds like he had like a change. Like he got up and went to this medrash.
No, his wife didn't let him go before. But now, well, I guess the interesting thing is when his wife was there, he asked for all the suffering, and now his wife leaves. Now he doesn't. So that's like a little odd, no? So Tarino, all 60, he says they're all tar. They're allowed to be with their husbands. They don't have to go to the mikvah. That night they can be with us. The rabbis were like laughing were like astonished. And they said, out of all 60, there isn't one that he has a question about. Maybe you should be more machmer. Amar lahu, he says to them, if I'm correct, Yehiyu is supposed to be my Gemara is messed up. All the children that were born from this, that are conceived, will be all male children. This is as far as the Gemara. And if not, there'll be one female amongst the 60 couples. Everyone that was born were all male. I don't know why it keeps using the word 60. I don't know.
Has nothing to do with Shishim.
60 warriors of Solomon.
Oh, you think so?
What did he say?
60 warriors of Solomon.
It's the Birchas Kohanim of the 60 words.
Yeah, but the 60 words Shishim Diburim, I just said at the same time, correspond to the 60 letters in the Baruch Hashem Yishmerech.
Oh, the sign says it corresponds to the 60 letters of your Baruch Hashem Yishmerech.
Not just a pretty face.
I said that too.
Me too.
I said that too.
Yeah, but you're not eating fluent at the same time.
True that.
Very true.
Okay. So, okay, yeah. All these children were named Elazar. Tanya, son of Bryce, Rebbe, Kama Peri Birbe, Bitler Shazim Yisrael. Rebbe says, son of Bryce, Rebbe says, how much procreation was neglected because of this kingdom. Now, one shot in Rashi is the Romans made him into a detective, and that's why he wasn't able to come to the Beis Medrash. If he would have been the Beis Medrash, the women would have been altar, and he would have said, they have to be machmer because they didn't know the real halacha. Second shot is that's the Risha, this wicked nation. Second shot is this Risha is referring to his wife because she didn't let him come to the Beis Medrash. Yeah. So surprising word to use on a wife. Well, anyway, it doesn't seem like that shot is correct shot because later on, Rebbe is going to pass away. You'll see it in the Gemara. Rebbe's going to want to marry her. It's surprising that that the Gemara first calls her Rasha and Rebbe. Maybe I don't know. Whatever. Rebbe should call her Rasha, then he wants to marry her. She refuses to marry him. Maybe he said it after. It's like a joke. Okay.
If they had like all the years that he was away from the basement letters, he could have
right. Right. So who kept him away from the base measures? So either the Romans or his wife. So that was the two interpretations. When he was passing away, he said to his wife, I guess she came back. I know the rabbis are angry at me. They're not going to take care of me properly. I guess the body. Let me rest in the attic, in the upper floor, and don't be worried about me. I'll be fine up there. Amr Shmuel bar Nachmani, or Shmuel bar Nachmani says, Rabbi Yonasan's mother told to me that she heard from Rabbi Elazar bar Shimon's wife. I guess Rabbi Yonasan's mother was friendly with Rabbi Elazar bar Shimon, and this woman told Shmuel bar Nachmani. He sang it over. He says, it wasn't less than 18, it wasn't more than 22 years that he lived in the attic. Dead. Right? That he was resting in the attic. When she would go up, she would check his hair to see how it is. When a hair would come out, his body was so fresh that blood would come out if the hair would fall out. One day, she sees a worm coming out of his ear. She felt terrible. The husband appears in her dream. Don't worry about that. It was just one time. I heard someone speaking bad about a yeshiva student, and I didn't protest. So that was his punishment. Protest to that.
Measure for measure.
Vizier, right? Right. Someone told me he had a lawsuit, terrible lawsuit. It was this whole, they made up all this stories and things, and it was it was a whole setup. They tried to get him to do. Anyway, he got free, but it cost him like millions of dollars in lawyers. But anyway, he said he knows why it happened to him. This is what the guy tells me. He says he was on the board. He used to be a wealthy guy. He was on the board of a school, and there were rabbis there that they got rid of this school. He said that he felt that it wasn't his position. He was a layman, and these laymen were like saying, this rabbi's good, this rabbi's not good. They got rid of this one, they put that one in. He felt that he overstepped his thing, and that's why he was, yeah. Anyway, don't be on any school boards. Yes, the decisions are too difficult. Okay. What happens now? It's possibly. Oh yeah, this is what happens, right? When two people would Ladino, when two people come to a court case, they would come to his door. Amar Marmelsi, each one would say his claim. A voice would come out from the attic. So and so is guilty, so and so is innocent. One day, his wife was arguing with the neighbor. I think it sounds like a classic, typical thing. Amalei. So she says to the wife, she says, "Take a bailish like you should be like your husband that won't get buried." Amir Rabbanan, the rabbis said about this. This is already not derech eretz. So we have to bury him. Some say that appeared to the rabbis in a dream. I have a pigeon, a bird that's amongst you, and you're not letting him come to me. Also, the rabbis went to take care of him. The city of Achbaraya. Now, that's interesting, that the name of the city, a strange name. No. Oh, that's what you think it means? No, the berry would be with a kuf. It just sounds like mice. The city of Achbaraya didn't let them take him out. All the whole time that Rabbi Elazar Shimon was resting, sleeping, it uses the expression, in the attic. No evil animal, no wild animal, no evil animal, it says, but it means a wild animal came to the town. The Messiah means to the town, it means to death, because death. To the town. No wild animals came to the house. Funny that the town that's called the mice didn't have any wild animals that whole time.
That's wild
animals.
No plague of wild animals came to the town. One day, Mali Yom Kippur, I was Erev Yom Kippur. Everyone was very busy. Erev Yom Kippur. This rabbi sent to the people of Beirut. It's a city that was right next door to Achbaraya. Baskul Arise, they took his bed from Tuyil Marta Davur. They brought him to the cave of his father in Meron. Right?
They would get eggs of wild animals for like wolves to make his bait. And then since he was making the decisions, people weren't like doing
Who do they quote that from? It's a good shot.
22.
Just 1 second. Marsha, okay. Hillel's telling me a note that the Marsha says that the wild animals come because of oaths. False oaths. So because he was taking care of all the court cases, no one made a false oath. So that's why there were no wild animals. So it wasn't like directly he was there, no wild animals. It was like a step, because he was there, and then there the court case, and because of the court case, there were no false oaths. So that's fine. Okay. There was a snake that was surrounding the cave.
There's no discussion here because I heard it on a separate tape today of the problem with them giving chuvas in the state that he was dead because Lo Bashamayim
That's an excellent question. How do you resolve that question?
Oh, so he goes through this and the Daf. I just want to tell you here because it's a great listen. You know, Daf Yomi with it.
Who? Which teacher?
Oh, so they have this extra thing that the here said supplemental clips. Daf halacha.
Oh, Daf Halacha.
So I listened to that today. Just
On the Daf Halacha.
and he goes into and he says, so he questions how could he give the psak if he was dead, lo b'shamayim he, and then he also then brings about the Eliyahu Navi, I think. Was Eliyahu he said a Navi is not allowed to give the psak unless something is all of us. It's very interesting, short listen. You know, blow me away.
As it were in the notes also,
And the notes.
that the Torah is not in heaven and goes into
Asking how was he allowed to give a psak if he wasn't alive, if he's in heaven?
So that's what this whole video.
He's not in heaven.
So
He's not alive, but he's not in heaven either.
Right. Someone says over here that it was a spiritual voice that was heard in the hearts and minds of litigants in Rabbi Elazar's city, and this moved them to arrive in a just settlement on their own. Yeah. There goes. I thought this was like more exciting than that.
Yeah. Some supernatural stuff.
Mashiach. You get to you'll get it all.
This video, listen to it, you know, the tape. It's short, but it's very good.
Yeah.
Like a story.
Mashiach's not supernatural. Mashiach's not supernatural.
I mean, there's another question here that how could he? Isn't there a mitzvah to bury the dead? And how he's like, just like postponing that? Okay. Anyway.
I'm curious if like he was afraid that the rabbis weren't going to give him like a proper death. That's why he told his wife.
Right. Yeah, but you know, it's funny because if you can start saying, you know, you couldn't have figured out how to get buried if that was really a chiyuv, you know, if that's a real obligation, unless maybe somehow the obligation goes up.
On the people that lie, not him.
Oh.
Did that you have to change their clocks?
Oh yeah, that's something was off. Trying to figure out what's wrong.
Rasha talks about that.
Yeah, saying that how could he transgress a negative commandment by leaving the dead unburied?
Oh.
And then it quotes some heaven.
What's the answer?
Yeah, how could he like tell his wife to do this? They explain that there's an exception to this rule where the non-determined is of the honor of the deceased.
Oh. There's an exception, basically. There's an exception to the rule. Okay. Okay.
Not dead. He's dead, but not dead.
So they show up at the cave. There's a snake that's surrounding the cave. This is a common scene when they come to caves with tzaddikim inside, right? Rav Kana. They come to the cave. Open your mouth, because the tail, the scene was that the tail goes into the mouth, you know, totally surrounding the cave. So open up so the child can come to his father. Paschal, they opened up, the snake opened up. Shalach. Okay, and they buried Rabbi Elazar next to Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, next to his father. Shalach Rebbe. Yeah. There's two caves. There's two cavers. Shalach Rebbe ledaber b'yishter. Yeah. Rebbe sent to talk to his wife that she should marry him because he passed away, and Rebbe wanted to marry this woman. So Shalch, the widow of Rabbi Elazar bar Shimon. So she sends back to Rebbe. Rabbi Yehuda Anasi says, a vessel that was used for holy things should now be used for mundane things. Referring to her husband was holy and as Rebbe is mundane. Taman Amrin, that's what people say over there in Eretz Yisrael. Where the master of the house hangs his utensils. Kolba Raya, Kol Seitala. Does that mean a dog? What's Kolba? A dog shepherd?
The horse shepherd now hangs.
A what shepherd?
A horse.
Oh, a coarse shepherd? What does it say over there?
And now hangs his sack.
I have an olive there. Kulba. Kulboy. Okay, whatever. Yeah.
The bolt.
A coarse shepherd. Kulba sounds like a dog, but okay, anyway. A coarse shepherd hangs his knapsack. So in other words, the same you're gonna use the same peg to hang his ass to hang for that. Okay. Shalach la. So Rebbe Center Nihi de B'Torah Gadol Mimeni. I understand that your husband was greater than me in Torah. But Ma'asim Tovim Gadol Mimeni, was it greater than me in good deeds? So she sends back, B'Torah mi Gadol Mimchala Yadana. I actually didn't know that he's greater than you in Torah. That's what I was referring to. But you said that. B'Ma'asim Yadana. But in good deeds, I know that he was greater than you because the Kabbalah Yisuri, because he went through suffering. Except in himself. The Torah, she was the one that was upset about the suffering. The Torah, what is it? Why was he greater in Torah? We're sitting on Rav Shimon Gamliel is Rebbe's father. They were sitting on chairs. Rab Elazar Shimon and Rebbe were sitting on the ground. Makshu Mefarku. They were asking questions and answering. Now I'm not sure if it means the sages were asking questions and Rebbe and Rab Elazar Shimon were answering. That's what it sounds like. Amri, they say, we are drinking their waters, and they're sitting on the ground. Abdulus Afsli, they made chairs for them. Askinu, and they brought them up. I only have one pigeon, and that's amongst you, and now you're trying to destroy him from me. Because it's ayin hara to make a young student to bring him up to sit with all the elders. It's ayin hara, it doesn't look right. So Achtul Rebbe, they brought Rebbe down and they put him back on the floor. I'm sorry. For the student, it's ayin hara on him that it looks like it sticks out so much. So
jealousy.
Yeah, this young kid.
MD when he showed up in Harvard. Little kid.
Maybe if you grow the white beard, then it works. So they put Rebbe back down. Someone that has a father that protects him, so it lives, and someone that doesn't have a father dies. So Achtu Nami the Rebbe Elazar Shimon. So they put Rebbe Elazar Shimon down to sit on the floor. Rebbe Elazar Shimon feels bad. They think that he's like me. Until that time. Rebbe Elazar Shimon always support what Rebbe said. But now, whenever Rebbe would say, I have something to say, to respond, I know what you have to respond, but this is the answer why it's not a good response. You're surrounding us with responses that don't have substance. So Elazar Shimon started to mistreat Rebbe. So Cholash died to the Rebbe. Rebbe felt bad. He tells to his father that he feels bad. He's always responding quicker than him and he's saying what he's going to say and why it's wrong. You should not feel bad. Shuari ben Ari, Vatari ben Shul. He's a lion, the son of a lion, because Reb Shimon Bar Yochai was a great person. But you, Rebbe, you're the lion, but you're the son of a fox. Reb Shimon Gamliel saying about himself. By the Dama Rebbe, and this is what Rebbe said, Shleishan v'Sanan Hein. There were three people that were very humble. Elohein, and they are Abba, my father, Bnei Beseira, Yenison ben Shal, and also Yenison ben Shal. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel.
Yeah.
What's wrong? Oh, Yonatan. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel Hadamar. We just said why he was very humble, because he said that he's a fox. Bnei Beseira, what's the Bnei Beseira? Why were they humble? What happened was there was this question about how to shech covering Pesach on Shabbos. They had to put the knife inside the hair and get it. Anyway, the Bnei B'Seira didn't know the answer. Hillel, that had just arrived from Bavel, knew the answer. And the Bnei B'Seira that were taking over the leadership of the community, they said that Hillel's greater than us, and they stepped down and they let him take. They let Hillel. They said Hillel should take over, which is very surprising because usually people don't step down from position. Yeah. So
Not now, when?
Yenison ben Shaul, the Karmel Leila David, Yenison ben Shaul tells David, I'll be second to you, you'll be king, and I'll be second to you, even though he was the son of the king, he was the prince. But he said, you'll be the king, and I'll be second to you. How do you know this? Yenison ben Shaul, the Chaz of the Garam of David. Maybe it was because he saw everyone liked David, everyone was, and that's why he said that. Bnei B'Seira Nami, the Chazu, the Hillel David. Maybe it's because, not because they were humble, but because they saw that Hillel was actually greater than them. But Reb Shimon ben Gamliel was definitely humble. Okay.
But Hillel was at a different time.
There's so much more time, let's keep going.
Hillel was much later.
All night long. Guys, you guys know where to go, right? Let's go.
Let's leave it over here.
Hillel came along much later than our time.
Yeah, the years are way huge gap.